Well, hello and welcome to your weekly look at Tiffin University football. Hi, everybody. It's the Coach Cris Reisert Show. My name is Snyder, voice of the Dragons. To my left, head coach of the undefeated Tiffin University Dragons. Hi, Coach. How are we doing today, bud?
Doing well. Thanks for having us on again.
So I got to ask you this first question. Were you ever homecoming king?
I was never popular enough.
Well, how cool is that? Okay, Tyrese Banks-Doran, if you don't know, GMAC Offensive Player of the Week and homecoming king, and goes for 200 yards on homecoming day. So what a great day for that young man.
No, it's amazing. Yeah, we found out, in pregame warm-ups, one of my coaches came up and said, hey, Tyrese is going to be the homecoming king. Can he leave warm-ups? I'm like, well, yeah, you only get to do that once in a lifetime. So he left warm-ups at, 5 minutes prior to us being done and got over and got in line. So I kind of knew it was happening, but still it was cool for him to get an opportunity to do that and then to kind of put on top of probably one of the better games he's played in a Tiffin uniform. Pretty special day.
And one of the people I know that works with Tyrese on campus, one of the first things that she said to me was, how cool is that Tyrese? A lot of people were excited for Tyrese, not only the football team, his family, but those on campus as well.
He's a special guy for sure.
And we got to mention Marshawn Mankins also getting the Defensive Player of the Week. And what a game he had. His two huge plays came at like the perfect time in the game for you too.
No, and he's really come on in a big way. Marshawn was a guy that in that spring COVID season was a dynamic kid and ended up being a first-team All-League guy as a true freshman and has battled some injuries in the last couple falls and really for the first time in about 2 years he's fully healthy and you kind of have the old Marshawn back and the old Marshawn is the best Marshawn. So it's been fun to watch him fly around and make a bunch of plays.
Nobody brings it for the amount of weight they carry like Marshawn does.
There's no doubt. He is an explosive dude.
Speaking of guys getting back at it for the Dragons, first quarter we got started Devin Nelson. Good to see Devin back on the field. He got a lot of good running backs, but it's always good to get one back when they were banged up a little bit.
Yeah, no, he's missed the last 5-6 weeks, and so slowly but surely kind of getting him back into form, and so getting him into a game and knocking some of that rust off is really important for him. And proud that he was able to do that. He's worked his tail off with our training staff and just trying to get back and get to play, and so it's nice having him.
Well, you got the Dragons started on the scoreboard, a 2-yard touchdown run. He actually converted a 3rd and 1 on that drive to keep that drive alive. And it was a 12-yard run on that 3rd down play. A 7-play, 72-yard drive, 2:43 off the clock. Your Dragons strike first and 7-zip.
Yeah, good first drive. We knew we wanted to get up on top, and in all honesty, it's before the rain started, so there wasn't a whole lot of weather for us to deal with, and that makes it a lot easier to play kind of a two-phase game where you can throw it and run it.
Right.
So it was nice to be able to take advantage of the good weather and capitalize.
Because there wasn't very much of that good weather.
No,
it was very minimal.
No, there was not. 2 weeks in a row now, right? So, right. But it's good to get work in it.
Well, we mentioned Marshawn Mankins' name a little while ago. A quarterback fumble near the goal line, about the 1, I think, is where he dropped it. Marshawn jumps on it in the end zone. Dragons put the PAT on. It's now 14-0. I don't know exactly what the percentages are, but I know that they're big. When you can get a defense and or special teams score, your opportunities of winning go way up.
They're high, in a big way. And I said to the team, I don't know the exact number, but I have to imagine it's in the 90s.
I would imagine.
That when you can do that, you're going to be okay.
Well, the Dragons have a 14-0 lead in the first quarter, then a field goal. Grant Woodfin, a 20-yard field goal, a 4-play, 7-yard drive, a minute 47 off the clock, and that's because the Dragons turned it over, but Marshawn Mankins, the very first play on the offensive side, got it right back for you. You got to love to see that.
Yep, no doubt. No, he did, and it was not like a little kind of hitch throw, and he jumped up and picked it off. It was a tremendous play. And so we were able to put 3 points up, got a score. You'd like to capitalize on the touchdown, and previous drive, we had a touchdown called back. Casey was about an inch over the line, and just a couple things that we'd like to have back. But to be able to go up 17-zip and be in a comfortable spot, I thought was important.
Grant Woodfin with the field goal. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities to kick more outside of that 20 to 30 yard range, but the way he's been producing for you this year is kind of like when they describe a baseball shortstop that doesn't make all the flashy plays, but every play he has to make, he makes. It's kind of the way I look at Grant.
No, he's done a really good job. He, I think he's kicking the ball better than he ever has since he's been here. Had missed a couple kicks, and I think it was just truly trying to figure out the emotional piece of a game day, how he manages his day-to-day, how he manages each play, and I think he's starting to really figure that out and get into a flow, and he's kicking the ball tremendously. So he's really peaking at the right time.
Well, all of your kicking game has been doing well. The kickoffs, the field goal extra points, and the punting's really seems steady improvement all year.
We are. We're getting there, and those guys are really bought into just trying to get 1% better each day. And it's one of the benefits of a football season. It's not exactly a short one, right? So,
no.
So there's a ton of opportunity.
You got a few months there.
Yeah,
figure
right.
It out.
So if you're not getting better, you're dying. You know, when you're not taking advantage of the situation. So that's been their intent. They've done that.
Well, Kentucky Wesleyan did get on the scoreboard before the first quarter was over. So after the first 15 minutes of football, your score was Tiffin University 17 and Kentucky Wesleyan 6. Grant Woodfin again got the Dragons going on the scoreboard with a 22-yard field goal, a 9-play, 74-yard drive, 3:28 off the clock to make it a 20-6 game. A couple big plays on that drive. First, a 3rd and 7 pass from Keegan Ray, who I'm sure you're incredibly proud of the effort he put in for you coming off the bench. Yeah. A 10-yard pass to Josh Lewis, and Tyrese, who we mentioned earlier, Banks Norton with a big 44-yard run on that drive.
Yeah, no, Kaysen got banged up, our quarterback, and Keegan stepped in, and incredibly proud of him. Local kid, went to Bellevue High School, and to get his opportunity at a pretty big moment, and not late in the game. I think it was the 3rd drive, and did a tremendous job. Our team rallied around him as I knew they would, and really excited for him to be able to have his time in the sun.
It'd be easier if his time would have been in the sun. That's what's so important about that, impressive about that young man. You don't get the first team reps all week. All of a sudden, Keegan in the ball game, and the conditions are bad. You're playing a conference team, and just the way he just accepted the challenge, he just did basically everything that you needed him to do that day. I was proud of the kid.
No, it was amazing. Kaysen goes out super early, and another one of our wide receivers goes out super early, and so moving guys around and scrambling, trying to figure stuff out, and our guys have been resilient in that, just trying to get 11 guys out there that are going to battle and fight, and we've been pretty successful in being able to do that and play for one another, and it's been cool to watch them not flinch.
It's nice to have a big group of good football players.
It is. It helps. Thank you, recruiting.
Right. So 20-6 Dragons lead as we go to the locker room, come out in the 3rd quarter. Kentucky Wesleyan gets the football first. They go 3 plays for -10 yards. Antonio Berry with a big sack on that drive. And that gets you guys the football back with some really good field position again. And then Grant Woodfin, another field goal, 21-yarder, a 23-6 lead. 6 plays, 26 yards, $1:17 off the clock. And again, a 19-yard run by Tyrese Banks Dorn on 2nd down to keep that one going.
Yep. No, similar thing. We knew we wanted to get a stop and go and put some points up on the board, and we were able to do that. I think anytime you can come out of half and be the last team to score and the first one to score the next half, then that's a pretty positive thing in the right direction.
Well, especially getting that quick 3 and out by your defense. You get out there because all Kentucky Wesleyan probably was talking about at halftime was that get something out of this opening drive. Let's build off of this opening drive. You guys just didn't let them have anything to do with that. Negative yardage on that drive. Fantastic. Well, Kentucky Wesleyan did score a touchdown before the end of the 3rd quarter, so the Dragons lead at 23-12 as we move into the 4th quarter. Now, Kentucky Wesleyan had a very nice drive going. A long drive, 70 yards. You got a 1st and goal at the Dragon 3. Ends up with a 4th and goal at the 2, and your defense wouldn't let him in. Defense was must have been the guy asking about the goal line situations last week.
It all comes full circle. Yeah. Right? Somebody asked me again. No, it was, huge stop. You can't say anything other than that.
No.
Backwards against the line, 2 penalties. I think we ended up playing 7 plays inside the 5-yard line. And didn't give up a score. So just resilience, not flinch. Like I told the guys in the meeting, in our team meeting, it's got nothing to do with anything other than that, right? It's heart. That's grit, And so for them to raise up and make that play, and then the offense took that momentum and went on a 98-yard play to call it quits.
A lot of people would say that a goal line stand by your defense could be maybe the biggest momentum-changing play in a football game when you get an opportunity to do that. Would you agree with that?
Without a shadow of a doubt. I think it energizes your entire team. I would argue that probably a block punt for a touchdown, right up there. Right. But I think a goal line stand.
Probably one of those handful of plays.
It's so cool when you have that because it's your back is truly against the wall and it's teams that are resilient. It's teams that have energy and fight and play one play at a time that can do that. And we've been successful in that a lot of this year.
Well, as Coach alluded to, 98-yard drive following the goal line stand. 6 plays, 2:51 off the clock. And again, Keegan Ray finding Jalen Thomas for a long 59-yard touchdown play. Big play there for the Dragons.
No, it's huge. Keegan came in and number called, performed. Jalen was playing a position he never played before. and I just luckily knew what route to run and got open and made a play. And so that's what happens in a long football season. It's just, you can't bat an eye, and it's just kind of like, all right, cool, this is crazy. We haven't been in this situation, but we've been prepared to be able to adapt to whatever environment we find ourselves in. And at the end of the day, there aren't any excuses. Win this stinking game, and our guys were able to do that, and I'm proud of them.
Have good football players like Jalen Thomas who are willing to make that change what they have to and fill other roles to make sure you get the best 11 on the field. Gotta love that. And the Kentucky Wesleyan gets the football back, and again they turned it over on downs, so the Dragons, not on the goal line this time, but at their own 42-yard line, the Dragons turned them down. That turns into Tiffin points on a 4-play, 42-yard drive, taking 2:25 off the clock. And once again, it's the Offensive Player of the Week and Homecoming King, Tyrese Banks-Dorn from 7 yards out. Big play on that one, a second down play. Keegan Ray finally Jalen Thomas for 18 yards.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. JT caught a screen and created after it, and then Tyrese being able to put it in from 7 yards out on a little inside zone play, and it was cool. That was probably the break the back moment, And I think what it ended up being 37-12 or something.
37-12 as a final score.
So that was probably the nail in the coffin, and proud of our guys for being able to do that.
Kentucky Wesleyan did get the football back and drove down, and they had a 1st and goal at the 7 again, and got it to a 4th and goal at the 4. And the Dragons once again were able to turn them over on downs. And then everybody's favorite formation, the victory formation, go out there and take a knee, and it's time to shake hands.
Yep, no doubt.
Well, total offense in that game, the Dragons 469 to 269 for Kentucky Wesleyan, 278 yards rushing. A lot of that we alluded to. Tyrese Banks-Dorn going off in the game, and he averaged like 11 yards per carry, 11.4 yards per carry for Tyrese. Antonio Berry had a big game for you, a couple sacks, 7 tackles. We already mentioned really well. Marshawn Mankins with the TD and the interception as well. And then let's take a look now here. I don't know, you don't check the GMAC stats like I do sometimes, but now in the scoring, we mentioned last week Tyrese Banks-Dorn second in the league in scoring.
Yeah.
Still second.
Cool.
Grant Woodfin's third, and Carson Griesach is 5th.
Nice.
In scoring per game for the Dragons. So that's pretty cool. That means you guys are putting some points on the board.
We are.
This week is Walsh. Walsh's team has started out the year pretty hot, and they've kind of settled down a little bit. But you look at the statistics as well, probably a top 4 defense in the GMAC you're going to play this week.
Yeah, Walsh has always been really, really, really hard to play against. Defensively they're tremendous. They have a tremendous scheme. They're really well coached, and Coach Fankhauser and his defensive staff do a great job on that side of the ball. And so it is a huge challenge for us every Saturday in October and November that we have to play them, and when they're clicking on defense, and they are this year. And so it'll be a great test for our offense, and one that we'll need to be ready for.
Cam Hollowell, one of their defensive players, is towards the top of the league in tackles per game at 8 per game. Nate Watkins for them has second in tackles per loss, and then Bobby Jackson in secondary seems to be a playmaker for him. But as you always say, it doesn't really matter about them as long as the guys in the green and gold go out and do their thing on what's crazy to say, the final home game of the regular season.
No, it's wild, isn't it? Senior day.
Yeah.
It feels like it's flown by, and yeah, that's been the message, and it has been for every game this year, just about us and trying to have a really good week of practice. I really thought we did. I thought we practiced with a lot of great energy, and guys are excited. I think there's a buzz, about the back end of the season, and so just getting an opportunity to play Walsh and getting an opportunity to continue to play. I think the senior day thing kind of is a cool moment for our guys to be a part of, and one that we're looking forward to, and I think it'll be a cool Saturday.
It's one of the problems with football, I guess, the popularity of football. You end up with all these extra distractions like homecoming, and then senior day. You have senior day in every sport, but there's a lot